Hello and welcome back to more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. We are back for chapter 4 of Waltz's Route. I think it was. I forgot what it. I think it's like Neverland or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. It's something Peter Pan related, but anyways, it's because Weird Waltz is about. But anyways, last episode we finished off on the third chapter, which basically has our first encounter with like the core problems we are facing in the kingdom, and it's about all the corrupted witches going around like committing arson and like doing harm to the public and all that stuff, and we having to deal and try to find out what their motive is and try to solve that problem. So, oh wait, before that though, we had talked to Parfayt's successor, Sin or Cinnamon. I know his name was like Cinnamon Base or something like that, but like he's either I forgot the son or the nephew of Parfait, and he's the successor of like her position. So we were talking and discussing about the issue, and he was saying how like maybe you should try on a more like proactive approach where instead of leaving all the interrogations and all that stuff to your royal guards and like to Walt, maybe you should ask, like interrogate or ask these people exactly what it is that that why they're doing this. So Waltz kind of protests because he's like, oh, you're already doing so much and you're overworking yourself, and like I'm here and your royal guard unit is here to do that job for you, so there's no need for you to like come face to face and do this sort of like dirtier work, which is like the interrogating part. But we're like, no, it feels like we're not getting anywhere with, we're just kind of sitting back and letting them take over. So why not just try this method out first and see if we can get anywhere, and if not, like it's whatever, we can go back to doing it the way we used to. But yeah, change is good, so we're gonna, just no harm in trying it out. So that's what we said. We were like, I'm going to try to interrogate this person or interrogate the people that we capture, and like see if we can get to the root cause. And it's immediately put into action when there was an attack at the square, and they managed to catch the dude who did it, and they put him in prison, and we go to the cell and we basically interrogate him, except all he wanted to do was basically talk shit to us, and also talk shit about Waltz, and saying how like, oh, Waltz is like, he was the worst of us, like why didn't you punish him, he's done way worse things than I have, blah 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 kind of thing. And we're just like, listen, that's not your place to say. Like, I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to achieve here. But it just seems that it's a whole thing where it's like, you're not my queen, and like I prefer Hildyr over you, you're a usurper. And we're like, okay, this is getting nowhere. So the only thing we found out about it is that this may be what Waltz is kind of like hiding from us and kind of scared to talk to us about. And that is the case. We go back to our rooms that following night, and we basically talked it out. We're like, hey, Waltz, like the dude was talking about all the things, that the supposedly terrible things that you have committed when you were still working for Hildyr. Like, is it kind of true? And he's just like, yeah, and I feel ashamed for it, and that's why I don't want you to talk about it. Also, I didn't want to tell you, and also part of why I wanted to keep you from doing the interrogation part of the whole thing, this whole case. And we're like, no, like we're trying to, when we comforted him, we're like, Waltz, it's like, that's the past you were a different person then, like we're not gonna change our feelings about you even after all this. So yeah, we're just like, airing it out, just being like, hey, you were there for me when I was at my lowest, and I'm gonna be there for you, and that should be like, that should be the thing. And that's, yeah, we left off on that. So this is the next day where we, I guess, are receiving the full rundown report of what exactly took place in the square. So Dolores giving us the tea, so let's get right into it. And that's it for the report. Okay. Dolores steps back, arms crossed. What do you think, Hannah? I sift through the stack of papers on the desk, eyes narrowed in concentration. Dolores and some of the other witches under my employ have been working for information about last week's arson attack. There has been no word of a confession or apology from the witch who started the fire. It is fairly a straightforward case, but nonetheless, we will have him speak before the counselors and witness at the end of the week. Hopefully then he will finally confess something. Good luck, he's stubborn as a rock, yeah. Only wants to talk shit about me. In the chair in front of me, Walt smiles. Have you told Delora about that other thing that you've been planning, Hannah? What other thing? Delora? I turn to Delora. Next week is the anniversary of the day Angiel was saved. Oh. It is the day I lost my mother again, and the day Angiel became peaceful once more. Oh right, any fancy celebratory things happening this year? Oh, I may have suggested something special. I hope you did not. I do not need a fancy celebration. Every year the town folk decorate the town with lilies to thank me for what I did, and every year Waltz tries to plan some special event on the anniversary. This year, he will not be the only one coming up with a surprise. I shake my head to clear it. I can think about the surprise I have planned for Waltz later. Woo! For now, I need to focus on the anniversary celebration. Are we gonna surprise him? With what? Fancy celebrations aside, I would at least like to give a speech this year. Don't you do that every year? Yes, but I normally address the populace as the Queen of Angiel. The Queen of Angiel. I look at her resolute. This year, I will give a speech as a tenebrium bearer. I will show them I am not my father. I will show them I am better than my mother. I will show them that I am better than my mother. Hannah, the corrupted witches are few and far between. You have the support of most of us. You were chosen by the tenebrium, after all. Even so, it means nothing if I am not actively showing the witches what I am doing to help them. Besides, the townspeople often forget I myself am a witch. I think it would be good to remind that I have that blood in my veins. Oh, true. I think that's a good idea. Right? But I also think you don't need to compare yourself to your mother. People know you're better than Hilda or Hannah. But you saved Angiel from her. You worked with Parfait to bring this conflict to an end. But I am still her daughter, right? That has no bearing on this situation. You inherited the Tenebrium from her, maybe, but you couldn't be any more different from her. Still, my mother actively sought out the counsel of other witches and made an effort to hear them. I feel I should do the same thing, just in a different way. It sounds like you have a lot more than a speech in mind. I have a proposition. I clench my hands on my lap and take a deep breath. I have been mulling over this latest idea with Waltz for the last few days. I realized recently that I only employ witches for security purposes. But if all of us, humans, witches, and fairies, are to exist together in harmony, they must have more of a say in what happens in the kingdom. I would like to add witches and fairies to the council. I think that's a pretty good idea. Delora gapes at me. Waltz, on the other hand, is smiling brightly. What? Is it a bad idea? Not at all. Actually, it's pretty brilliant. Your mother kept only witch advisors, and your father's counselors are all human. If you can bring in witches and fairies, you'll be showing everyone you're actively pushing for more inclusivity. Inclusivity, yeah. Exactly. Yes. Delora falls back in her chair with a little laugh. Diversity, yes. You and Cinna never fail to amaze me. Yes, Cinna is his name. I have to thank Cinna for his advice, even if it was a little brusque. Do you think he would speak at this year's anniversary as a Lucis bearer if I asked him? No. Dolores snorts. He's so self-important he'll probably ask why you didn't invite him to do it earlier. She stands from her chair with a stretch. Do you want me to extend the invitation to him? No, I shall do it personally. I think he would be offended if I passed the message on to you. Fair enough. Delora looks at Waltz. Are you coming back with me to the tavern? Of course. I can't disappoint the kids. He glances at me. Are you sure you don't want to tag along for the magic lessons? It's always fun to watch the kids practice their magic. Yes, Waltz's magic lessons. I do plan on visiting him during his lessons today, even though he does not know it. But first, there is something I must do. Oh, I have to organize this paperwork first. I'll see you at the Marchen later. We'll see you then, Your Majesty. Waltz stands and leans over to plant a kiss on my head. Oh, I'll see you later, little star. Okay. I wait a couple of minutes after they leave to exit the room. The person I am looking for is in the dining hall, absently spooning soup into his mouth as Emmeline talks at length about something he clearly has no interest in. He looks up as I approach. Rad! There you are. Oh, hello, Hannah. Did you and Rod have plans? No, she's just here for this. Oh, Rod reaches into his pocket and pulls out a little box, which he hands it to me. Here. Thank you for holding on to this for me. Is that? Yes. Is that a ring? I'm not gonna formally propose to my mans. Days ago, when I went into town looking for the items stored in this box, I visited Emmeline to discuss this gift with her. That same day, Rod walked in on our conversation and offered to keep it hidden in his room until I needed it. I found it strange at the time that Emmeline did not immediately offer, but she confessed Rod is better at keeping secrets than she is. The confession did not surprise me in the slightest. Still, I am grateful for Rod's offer. Walt is awfully intuitive. If I'd left this surprise for him in my room, he probably would have realized I was hiding something. Emmeline beams. Today is the day you're going to give it to him, then? Yes, I'm going to propose. I can't wait to hear all about it. I don't know, maybe. Rod sighs. It would be a nice change of topic at dinner tonight. He looks pointedly at Emmeline. It would be nice not to hear about Prince Lance for a change. Emmeline flushes. You asked what he said in his letter. You asked what he said in his last letter. That was a long time ago, Em. You've been talking about him for 1 whole hour. Emmeline buries her face in her hands. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent again. Rod sighs. Just let Prince Lance fill in some of the details when he arrives. When I look at him quizzically, Rod shrugs. Prince Lance wrote in his most recent letter that he and Claude planned on visiting for this year's anniversary. Oh, he said he would be arriving sometime this week, but it's a surprise when. Oh, every day Em wakes up and asks if there have been reports of their carriage on the border. Rod! Rod dips his head slightly, as if to hide his smile. Rod, perhaps if you spoke more about your own affairs, Emmeline would not have to fill the silence with talk of Prince Lance. Do you have somebody? Rod scoffs. I have nothing to talk about. Okay. You always say that when it's not true. Hannah, did you know that Rod received flowers from a secret admirer when he was out in town yesterday? Ooh. I told him he ought to write a letter back, but he refused. Oh, Emmeline told me once that Rod was in love with one of her friends, the woman at the toy shop named Viorica. But that love, which once flared so brightly, blew out years ago when Viorica married. Oh, it is strange to think of Rod in love even now. There's no point in giving someone false hope when you're not interested in them. Then who would interest you? Emmeline puts her hands on the table and leans forward. Hannah and I can try to set you up with someone. No, exactly, no. The two of us speak in unison before exchanging relieved glances. No? I am terrible at matchmaking. Same. Yeah, I don't believe that. I've told you 1,000,000 times I'm not interested, Em. I'd rather listen to you talk all day about Prince Lance than have you try to set me up with someone. The words come out a groan. If you insist. It occurs to me belatedly that I do not have time for this conversation. I step away from the table. I gotta run. I will leave you two to your conversation. For now, I have a delivery to make. Emmeline's eyes are sparkling when she smiles at me. Good luck, Hannah. Okay, good luck. I offer my sincerest thanks to both of them before heading to my room. I need to move this gift into another box. One, I think that will be appropriate. What did I give? What did I get him? About an hour later, I set off to town with a bag in hand. Accompanied by 2 knights, I make my way toward the food stalls where I purchase an assortment of chocolate. This idea came to me at last minute, but, well, I think Waltz's students would appreciate a treat after their lesson. I stick the set carefully into my bag as I head over to the tavern. When I arrive by carriage, I dismiss the 2 knights and head into the tavern alone. Hello, I expect to see Walt and his students in the tavern when I step inside, but I am greeted with a much more unexpected sight instead. It's Claude! If it isn't the beautiful Ice Queen. Claude, heir to the throne of Brigantia, casually reclines in a chair at the center of the room. He sits at a table with Dolores, Cinna, and his younger brother, Prince Lance. Prince Lance, you need to go find the particular young lady. She's been missing you. She's been expecting you. Even had I never met Prince Lance before, I would recognize him as Claude's brother. The two of them have the same fiery red hair and similar features. But whereas Claude is full of crooked smiles and secrets, Prince Lance is earnest and honest. Aw, cute! Karma, you shouldn't call her that. Prince Lance looked at me apologetically. Ignore my brother, your majesty. Prince Lance bows. It is a pleasure to see you again, Queen Hannah. It is nice to see you both too. I walk over to their table. What is all of this? Emmeline said you were coming for the anniversary celebration. When did you get here? A few hours ago, we parked the carriage a distance away so as not to draw attention. Okay. And why exactly are you here? How disheartening to get a cold reception from even you, Hana. Well, Cinna mumbles something beneath his breath. Of course, you're an unwelcome guest. No one appreciates having a spontaneous visitor, especially when the visitor interrupts something important. Oh, are we discussing something important? Were you not just hunting for insects in the forest? Don't demean my hobbies. Yeah, Delora laughs. It's good to have you here, Hana. Maybe you can stop these two from fighting every 2 minutes. She crosses her arms. The princeling here barged in while Walt was in the middle of his lessons. Lady Delora, you make it sound as if I was intruding. You know my intention was to come and catch up before my brother and I went to the palace. Whatever your intention, you still interrupted Walt's lesson. Where is Walt now? Yeah. He took his students to the forest when the princess showed up. He said he needed quiet for today's lessons. Dolores suddenly seems to notice the bag I am carrying. What's in the bag? It is, something for Walt. Claude leans over. He spots the chocolate inside before I can snatch the bag away. You brought him some chocolate? How sweet. There is a sudden sound, a low rumble that permeates the pleasant quiet. Oh, what's that? What was that? Guy? Cinna's smirking. And you said you weren't hungry, Prince. Oh, you look at my chocolate and you're like, ooh, yum yum. No. I figured I could wait to eat until we were at the palace. Prince Lance sighs. We could have been there by now if you didn't insist on this stopover. If I'd known the two of them were visiting today, I would have brought them something, right? I glanced down at the chocolate. It was meant to be for Walt's students, but I wonder if it would be a small kindness to give them to the Almont brothers. Give the chocolates to the children, give the chocolates to the princess. Guys, why can't you grab something at the bar, bro? Like, these are chocolates with the kids. I'm supposed to, Listen, okay, Claude, I'm sorry, but like, I brought these chocolates originally for Waltz and the kids, okay? It's not about you. I'll be nice to you and you're around, I promise, but this is not about you. No, I purposely bought these for the students as a reward. Besides, Claude's hunger will not be sated with chocolate. I know, right? You're gonna eat the whole pack. You would need to eat the whole pack for you to feel any sort of fullness. I am sure the kitchen staff would be more than happy to prepare something for you as soon as you arrive. Though I wish you had let me know you were coming so sooner. I am the queen after all. It is my diplomatic responsibility to welcome you. Claude shrugs. I don't expect formalities or favors from you, Hana. Yeah, and it would be foolish of him to expect those things in the first place. After all, you're speaking to a prince who came to a rundown tavern before even thinking to announce himself to the queen. Yeah, Cinna scoffs. I can't believe you're going to be the king of Brigantia someday. Cinna, manners. Right, still royalty. While the two bicker, Claude leans toward me with a smile. Walt is in the clearing just beyond the back door. Thank you, Claude. I glance between him and Prince Lance. You two are not going to disappear before I come back, yes? You can rest assured we'll still be here. My secret adventure days are over. No more Miss Karma, I take it? Right. Claude smiles a little wistfully. I'm afraid not. I rather miss those days though, right? He's like, oh, the good old days where I could just, just go off, pretend to be a nice young lady, and just do shit by myself. Lance sighs. I don't. While you were in AGL, we all thought you were dead. Ah, yes, that part was unfortunate. I leave the two brothers to reminisce as I head outside. Okay, oh, it's dark. The moon has risen by the time I step outside. Just as Claude said, I find Walt and his students in the nearby clearing. So, do you want to try it again, or shall we break for the night? The children all let out a collective sigh. I feel so tired. I bet I'm going to fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. I'm so tired I think I'd fall asleep right here. Waltz laughs. I told you before not to strain yourselves. Magic takes a huge toll on the body. That it does. You should be careful not to overwork yourself, Mr. Magician. Walt startles when I push through the trees. Hello, it's the Queen! Hello! I'm alive! Her Majesty is here. Yes. Hello, everyone. I see you're hard at work. I walk over to Waltz and kiss his cheek. The children rumble, hiding smiles and giggles behind behind their hands. I didn't think you would be able to make it. I thought I would surprise you. I hold up the bag, which Waltz eyes with curiosity. What's inside? Well, I pull out the box of chocolates. I thought I would buy something for all the hard-working witches here. Yeah. Is that chocolate? Chocolate! The children scrabble toward me excitedly, thanking me in turn as I give them each a piece of chocolate. Thank you, Your Majesty. We're blessed to have a queen as kind and beautiful as you. Oh, you flatter me. Yeah, see? I told you. Told you I'd make the right choices. Waltz beams at me. We are, aren't we? And the queen can use magic too, just like us. She's very, very talented. Oh, you over-exaggerate. Waltz leans forward and whispers. You need to stop being so humble. You're the Tenebrarian bearer. But still. I know, but still. I don't like to brag, okay? I'll just humble brag. Waltz's eyes fall again on the bag. Is there a treat in there for me too? There is, actually. He actually looks taken aback. There is? Yes. I laugh. How can you? Yes, it's something for you. Why would you expect me to just forget about you? His eyes light up. Do I get to see it now? It's an after-lesson treat, I'm afraid. You're just in time then. We were just wrapping things up here. Okay, Your Majesty, yes? One of the young witches bounds forward. Can you show us your magic? Another child nods excitedly. I want to see Her Majesty's magic too. The thought of using my magic, even just in front of children, makes me feel suddenly embarrassed. I rarely flaunt my magic. I do not think I am bad at any stretch of the imagination, but I do not possess the creativity Waltz does. Waltz snaps his fingers. What if the princess gave us a preview for the lesson we're going to learn next time? The one you're all so excited about. Barriers! Oh, barriers! More barriers. Barriers we can use to be heroes. Barriers. Barriers. They were the very first magic I learned from Waltz. I was impatient then, I remember. All I wanted was to learn how to use offensive spells. Waltz, you know I'm not a teacher. Yeah. You don't need to be. All I'm asking for is a demonstration. Demonstration? Waltz nods, a soft smile on his face. I'm going to use an attack, and you can show the children which barrier they should use to defend against it. So you just want me to assess the situation and cast the right barrier? Exactly. Okay. I glance at the children, who look at me hopefully. Alright, I suppose I could help you with your demonstration. That's my little star. Okay, I suppose. Waltz blows me a kiss as he puts distance between us. I set my bag down by a nearby tree and move to stand before him. Alright, let's begin, shall we? Okay, because this is just a preview for an upcoming lesson, Waltz skims over the details. He explains that there are two types of barriers, one that shields and one that deflects. Powerful spells cannot be deflected while weak spells can. Listening to him makes me feel nostalgic, right? Waltz turns to me after the explanation. Alright, the queen and I are going to put on a very small mock battle. She's going to use the right barrier to block my spell, and then I'll tell you why she used it. Sound good? The young witches shout their agreement. Alright then. Waltz begins to gather energy for a spell. I can tell by his relaxed posture and breathing that it is not a spell that requires great concentration. So I must use a shield. It is the first answer that pops into my head. After all, I have been conditioned to use shields far more often than deflectors, which can harm people. I cast my barrier just in time as Waltz's magic comes rushing toward me. I hold my ground as the magic touches my barrier and does not even leave a dent. I sigh inwardly. I should have used a deflector for that one, most likely. Oh, true. Because it's like a weak spell. Yeah, I should have used a deflector for that one, most likely. Even Waltz looks a little surprised. Oops, my bad. My bad, I wasn't paying attention. I just ruined his lesson, didn't I? But Waltz is good at improvising. He knows how to make my mistake a part of the lesson. Right? Do you all see what the queen did? She used the shield to show us that the spell I cast was a weak one. You see how it didn't even leave a single dent in her barrier? Shush. That means she could have used a deflector. But he holds up a finger. It's better to avoid deflectors altogether if you can. Reflecting someone's magic back at them is dangerous, right? I thought that was the thing. So overall, a barrier is the best way to keep others from being hurt. Understand? The children all nod and begin to mumble amongst each other. Waltz turns to me. Making me think on my toes tonight, I see. Yes, that is exactly what I meant to do. Come on, I had good meaning to it. You know, like deflectors are more dangerous and like you should only use it if you really need to. Waltz dismisses the children shortly after our demonstration. They bow and give their thanks as they leave the forest. I'm glad you got to meet them all tonight, Hana. They ask about you all the time. The reason you used the shield tonight, stage fright. He says it jokingly, but the words still make me blush. It has been a long time since I've cast the deflector. My apologies for forgetting in the moment. You don't need to apologize, little star. We still got a great lesson out of it. He steps forward, closing the distance between us. It was great to have you here. It reminds me of simpler times. Simpler times, when the two of us were focused entirely on magic and what the next day would bring. We were so focused on the present then, it was difficult to consider the far future. And now, all we ever think about is the future. Right. Do you think so? I think we do not think on it enough. Waltz looks at me curious. Oh, why would you say that? I glance back at the bag I set by the tree, then up at the moonlight coming through the trees. I think it is dark enough here for what I have planned. Okay, Hana? I told you I had an after-lesson treat. I bring the bag over to Waltz. There is a childish wonder in his eyes when he looks at me. It warms my heart like nothing else. Waltz has the heart of a child, a heart full of wonder and optimism. There is no one that can bring a smile to my face like he can. That is why, when he proposed to me a year ago, I did not hesitate to say yes. I have always wanted him here by my side, have always wanted him, all of him, for me. I remember the moment we stood here in this same clearing years ago, before facing Mother. Waltz told me darkness made a light glow brighter. He showed me that light. And now I will show him the same light. I will show him what he means to me. What am I gonna do, little star? You're keeping me in suspense here. I smile. Well, and then I snap my fingers. Little balls of light spring to life. In the darkness, they look like hovering fireflies. Waltz's eyes glimmer in that light as he looks around in wonder. Well, this is a familiar spell. It is not the only thing that is familiar. I reach into my bag and take out the gift I have prepared. His eyes widen when he sees it. Oh, wait. I kind of remember. Wait, hold on. Is that Neverland? Yes, yeah. I slide an intricate key out of my pocket. It is the only key that can open the box, Tinkerbell. I hand both the key and box to Waltz. Open it. Once upon a time, this box held Waltz's magic in it. Now, I like to think it holds his future. Right. Waltz carefully takes the box and key from me. His eyes look misty, like he is holding back tears. Oh, this box has so much history. It does, yeah, it does, and its role in our story is not done yet. My heart flutters as Walt slides the key into the box. I have never been as nervous as I am now, watching him. The box opens with a soft click, revealing the gift Rod has been holding for me. The thing I have been trying to keep a secret from Waltz. What is it? Walt stares in shock at the ring that lays inside. I'm proposing to him. Yes, I am. You wanna put a ring on my finger? Put it on and make him wanna marry me. Yeah. Put it on and make him wanna marry me. Yeah. Put it on and make him wanna marry me. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god. That's so sweet. Hana, what? 1 year ago, you proposed to me, Waltz Cresswell. You slid a ring onto my finger and promised me you would be by my side forever. In the months that passed, I kept pushing off the wedding date. I told you I was not ready for the future because I had to figure out the present first. But what you said a few days ago made me realize that we cannot overthink things. In order to change the present, we must work toward the future. Days ago, I told you I never wanted you to keep me in the dark. We both agreed to walk together toward the future hand in hand. Now, I want to show you I meant everything I said with this ring. Oh! You brought me one. It's only fair we seal the deal with two. That's so cute. So the wedding. I have planned for it to be the day before the anniversary celebration. Hana. You're not so touched. Look at me be so romantic and so sentimental. Waltz's voice is uncharacteristically strained. I can see now that there are tears in his eyes. I wait with anticipation for him to say something. Instead, he leans forward and, without preamble, presses his lips to mine. Oh, he's so cute. His lips are soft and warm against my own, but resolute. When he kisses me, it feels like I am home. It feels like I have found my way to the light at the end of a dark path. Kissing Waltz is like basking in sunshine. When I throw my arms around his neck and deepen our kiss, I feel as if half of me has clicked into place. My shadow, which had watched over me from a distance from all these years, is here to stay. With Waltz, I feel as if I can face anything, even the uncertainty that is the future. As his tongue glides over my lips, I let myself lose myself in this kiss. Ah! We're getting Frenched? Oh my god! Waltz! In this moment, there is nothing but the two of us. Oh my god. Waltz takes an abrupt step backward and catches me in a hug when I fall into him. We both tumble to the ground laughing. Is that answer enough for you, little star? Yes, it is. He kisses me softly on the cheek, then on my jawline, beneath my ear. Each kiss makes warmth blossom beneath my skin and heat pool in my stomach. I suppose so. I don't know, you can keep going if you want. I wouldn't mind. I would have waited forever for you to set that date, but he wraps his arms around me and kisses my forehead. I can't put into words how happy it makes me that you asked me now, like this. Don't worry about it, don't mention it. Like, girl, you know me. Like, I'm not scared to propose to you. He holds up his hand and a thrill goes through me at the sight of the ring on his finger. I will treasure this always. And I will treasure you always. Waltz kisses me again, another soft, sweet kiss on the lips. Thank you, little star. Oh, I love you with all my heart. Oh, I do too. Me too, Waltz. I do too. Come here. The two of us lay there in each other's arms, gazing up at the stars between the canopies. Some time passes before reality begins to sink in. The Brigantian princes are still in the tavern, and everyone in the palace is probably worried for me. Right? I sit up and pat down my hair with a grumble. Time to get going? Yeah. Everyone is going to insist I start bringing knights with me at this rate. Waltz takes my offered hand with a smile and rises. Let's head back to the margin then. Oh. Everyone is exactly where I've left them when I return. Delora looks almost relieved when we reappear. Finally, it took you too long enough. There's only so long we can sit here entertaining a spoiled prince before he gets on our last nerve. Excuse me for boring you with my stories. Not everyone likes the chameleon stories, Karma. Walt suddenly looks intrigued. You like chameleons? Chameleons, Claude? Well, I do. Do you like them? Please don't encourage him, Waltz. Cinna glances at me as the three of them talk about chameleons, whatever those are. You never seen a chameleon before? Dolores said you had something you wanted to ask, me earlier? Oh right, the anniversary speech. I bring up my proposal to Cinna, who, as Delora predicted, is agitated I did not bring it up sooner. I'm offended you didn't invite me to do a speech last year. I barely knew you last year. The fairy crosses his arms and looks moodily at the table. I appreciate you asking, I suppose. I'll make some time to give a speech. I guess. It's not like I wanted to give you a speech. Thank you, Cinna. Cinna just responds with a shrug. His eyes flit to Waltz, who is still speaking adamantly with Claude about chameleons. I see you gave him your ring. Oh, how did you... Don't underestimate how perceptive I am. He looks at Waltz thoughtful, and then he does a strange thing. He smiles. I'm happy for you both. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. This has always been my greatest wish. It is wonderful to see it fulfilled. Cinna crosses his arms, looking thoughtful. A wish, Did you know us fairies can grant wishes? You can. Cinna nods. The rules have changed since the Great War, but every fairy can grant one wish. I've always thought wishes were foolish. Why would humans wish for something they can accomplish on their own? Achieving something by your own merits is always more satisfying. That is very true. What are you two discussing over there? Nothing important. Now, are you going to escort the princess back to the palace, or? Oh yes, yes, Claude, Prince Lance, let us go. Yeah, we are on our way out when Delora calls my name. Hana, congratulations. Oh, for what? Well, the whole thing. You didn't think I would notice the ring on Walt's finger? Everyone's just like, congrats, you proposed to him. You cuffed him. Congrats. I hope you plan on inviting us to the wedding. Of course I will, girl. You know I will. How could I not? You're the one who insisted we put ourselves first for a change. Delora grins. I'm always here to remind you of the important things. You and Cinna both. Who knew watching over two bearers would be so difficult? You act as if you're my mother. Delora snorts. Just remember you said that, not me. Cinna doesn't say anything to that. He just whirls on his heels and stomps away. Kids. I shake my head, smiling. Thank you, Delora, for everything. Thank you for all your hard work. In the end, you turned out to be a pretty good Tenebrae bearer, aren't I? And you turned out to be a pretty good mentor. I will never get tired of hearing those compliments from you. Delora smiles at me gently. Good night, Hana. Yes, good night, Delora. I leave the tavern that night with a heart so light it feels like it could take off flying any moment. Aww. Aww, it's great. And something's gonna happen. Oh no, that's the end of that chapter! Interesting. Past and future, chapter 5. Oh, which is interesting because the second episode I had titled Past and Future. Well, past and future talks, because that's what we were talking about. That was the topic of the conversation. But anyways, that is all for chapter 5. So we're gonna stop here, and we'll continue on in the next episode in chapter 5. Chapter 5. That was the end of chapter 4. We'll continue on in chapter 5, the next episode. And so yeah, wow, oh my god, things are like, oh my, things are kind of working out. And they're going really smoothly. Like there's some couple, like, you know, little speed bumps here and there, but like nothing too out of control, nothing too like oh my god, what are we gonna do kind of thing, like this is looking bad. But no, yeah, like, you know, we solved it out. We even proposed to Walt, so I think we're actually getting married now. Oh my god, like what is gonna happen? It makes me kind of nervous because you know some shit's about to go down. Like this is not gonna be like a happy ending sort of with, well, we're gonna get to our happy ending, our happy conclusion, but it's not gonna happen without some conflicts and some, like, you know, again, that climax. You know, we still technically do have that problem with the witches that are evil and they're like causing trouble in our kingdom, and we still don't know why, and we still don't really have a handle on that. So yeah, we'll continue then, and we'll see again where this story will take us. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all your patience once again. Leave a subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, at least, because for those of you who may not know, I am still on a semi-hiatus in terms of uploading for you guys, because my schedule is very unpredictable even to me, so I just take the chances of recording and uploading as they come. So even if you do ask me when's the next time I'm gonna upload anything, I'm not gonna have a straight answer for you. So yeah, that's the best way to know when the next time I'm going to upload, is to at least turn on the notification bell on my channel. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much. Hope you guys are still enjoying this game, and I'll see you in the next one. But for now, bye.